Yo, what's good, guys? Welcome to the Traders Reality Crypto Projections channel, episode 37. Well, let's give a round of applause to Bitcoin, completely throwing everybody off guard. Bearish market, everyone going crazy to the downside, and then before you know it, in the same session, they send price all the way back up. Isn't it funny how, if we go back in time, we see the same thing happen 2 weeks ago? Have a look. All the way to the 8th of June. Price comes all the way back down, ironically enough, on a Monday. False move week beginning. They move price all the way. Pay attention to the daily open, which is this purple line. All right. They drop price all the way back down. Vector candle to the downside. Encourages all the guys to go short. Bearish market is in play. Everybody losing their mind. And then it reverses back up and takes above 60% of the move. Nearly even 70% of the move that it made previously in the Asian session. Comes towards the daily open, and massive intention by the market maker to bring price back up because they have different intentions. All right. When you see it drop so much and then it comes all the way back up to recover that loss, that is a lot of strength behind the move. But what's important is this. When the market maker had absorbed enough liquidity to the downside to trap the retail trader to believe it was dropping, he's getting his longs filled at lower points. Liquidity 1, liquidity 2. Okay. Now, in the lower time frame, in the 15-minute, there was a vector candle in this zone. So that would bring us to our third push to the downside. They reverse price back up, cover the most of the loss, and then they pull back in the Asian session, and then they rise out of the zone. And then they go on to make an absolute high of 38,459. Why do we go back in time? Because history does repeat itself. It's just a matter of when. The same thing has happened here. Monday, false move week beginning. They drop price. Tuesday, they continue with the intention and they drop price at the lowest point. Comes towards the 28,299 zone, which is the absolute low that Bitcoin made not so long ago, which was 323. It was that point where if Bitcoin did break that, we would go into chaos. All right. The next zone, if Bitcoin did break this point, would be the gap that was made back in December 2020. All right. That could be a zone that they bring it back down to, but it all depends on where these players want Bitcoin to go. Right now, all we have is Bitcoin is stuck at this point and they don't want it to go any lower. Was yesterday's intention to the downside enough to trigger people to step back in? Is this the absolute point where Bitcoin does move and continue higher towards the 40K mark? Well, we need to understand what's going on in this zone. Vector candles to the downside, big green candles shifting out of the zone. And the beautiful thing about this was what? If you watched yesterday's stream and you watched yesterday's projections channel, okay, the video from yesterday talked about if price came back up towards the daily open and closed above it, that would be a very strong move. All right, mainly in the stream. Now, what we need to understand is this. The fact that previously Bitcoin made the move to the downside and then recovered back up towards the daily open, didn't close above it. They closed above it in the second session. All right. But they did it in a straight session right here. The New York reversal sent price all the way back up towards the daily open. They closed above it for the session. They came back down and then they moved all the way back up in the same Asian session. Funnily enough, let's go back in time. Same shit happened here. Excuse me. Price rises, retrace, continuation. Price rises, retrace, continuation. Now, what's important is Bitcoin hit the projection zone from last night's stream. All right. It hit that point. Whenever we hit a projection point, price comes back down. It needs to regulate. They are containing Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin has now come towards the range daily high. Whenever price does that, all right, it always likes to pull back. It needs to regulate. This big pump in price in the Asian session is fantastic for those who are long on Bitcoin, but we have to proceed with caution because we are anticipating a pullback to the 50 EMA. Granted, the 13 EMA has crossed over the 50 EMA. All right. But for true confirmation that they are going to send price higher, we need a retrace and then a continuation back up. So this is what pattern we are waiting for. Waiting for a rise from this point, waiting for price to retrace, and then continuation to the upside. Now, what's important is we are now close to the psychological high and low for the week. All right. If you watch the previous streams, you will see that price, if it pulls away from the psychological zones, but they have intentions to go back above them, they will move so far back towards that zone as quick as they can so that they then have the rest of the week to trade above it or below it. Right, in this instance, you can see that we have got price now coming ever so close towards the psychological zone. It's retracing, effectively accumulating more contracts, orders at this point so that they can move higher. But you've also got to pay attention to another thing. Look at all this liquidity that is due to be taken out. Beautiful. Unbelievable pools of liquidity that are now going to be worked. If this is the same V pattern from last week, we are happy days. Look at the vector candle that happened here. Look at the vector candle that happened here. Granted, the vector candle, we understand that at some point price is going to come back towards it, but it didn't come back to it for at least 2 weeks after. So they made the move to the upside and then they recovered all these vector candles. Took them 2 weeks to come back to it. Okay, what's the story here? Is this going to be what this is? History repeats itself. It's just a matter of when. That's what we're waiting for. Right now, Bitcoin is starting to pull back. All right, but it's not really gone anywhere. So we just need to sit tight and wait to see what happens next. From my understanding, I think there's someone's going to release some news about something. I've just got the impression this behavior right here during the London session, all right, nothing's happening. You could see how busy we were in the London session yesterday. Why all of a sudden now things are stabilizing? All right. Yes, we do have some options expiry coming into play, but options doesn't always make it as a market mover, right? They will move price if they need to, but I just don't trust this. I think something's going to come out. They're going to say something about Bitcoin, which is going to encourage either a drop or a rise in price. All right. So proceed with caution. We've hit the first projection point. The next projection zone, as you can see with these purple candles, if you drop down to the 15-minute time frame, you will see the following. Look up. Projection point 1, 2. We've got this main projection point has been taken here. You can see it come up all the way. Look at the actual tab itself. Isn't that frightening? Follow this cursor. Look at the close over here and then marry it up to where it closed at. Look at the red candle on the left. You can see where the cursor is. If that doesn't say anything to you, then I'll put my hands up. Pay attention to the candlesticks. Let's flip over to Ethereum. Same story for Ethereum. Look at this. Ethereum is now coming back towards also the psychological high and low. We've had the rise, retrace now testing the 50 EMA. 13 EMA is just about trying to cross over. They're stabilizing the zone. We may see even price come back down. All right. We need to wait and see what happens. So there's no entry. There's nothing until they reveal their hand. All right. This is a V pattern. Is this also a inverted head and shoulders? Now remember, guys, the bigger the inverted head and shoulders, the bigger the W, the more conviction we're going to see when they move out of that zone. But you can also have small Ws, small Vs, and it still makes a massive move to the upside. All right. So I hope that helps you guys. All right. And I hope that you are understanding what I'm trying to do with this channel, guys. All right. These small videos are designed to help you apply the knowledge that is taken from the streams and putting it into real time. Okay. A practice that will help you is if you go through the previous videos and observe the price action before it happens, and then you'll have the videos to see what happens afterwards. All right. If you are new to the channel, guys, mad love if you do decide to subscribe. If not, I hope you've managed to take some understanding from the way I translate the charts based on the two schools of thought that have been merged together to create the hybrid system. Okay? Mad love and respect to all of you. Have a wonderful day and watch your patterns, guys. Take care. Peace.